Okay, so what's everybody drinking tonight?
I'm on water because I've already had 4 cans and decided if I opened another one, I wouldn't make it to the end of this recording. So I would just fall asleep on you.
I have Argentinian Malbec.
Is it from Aldi, James? That's the important question.
Of course it's from Aldi.
Malbec is the guarantee. Sometimes the Malbecs are not from Aldi.
I have tea because I raced this evening and I don't think alcohol works as a recovery drink somehow.
No, I disagree. I completely disagree. Alcohol is a wonderful recovery drink.
But, many members of the herd will disagree, particularly the quackers.
Yeah,
I think most of the Platties too. But I am drinking the Big Rig Alpha Bomb IPA. So that is a local brewery from the Big Rig, a hockey player.
I mean, again, a good rating of your week by Kerry as well. I think she's given you both. You are a Big Rig and you are an Alpha Bomb. I mean, that's your report card doesn't get much better than that, does it, Craig? So.
Well, I think last week was better, but this is also good.
Oh dear. So James Bailey, excited voice. Where are we in the Herd Summer Racing League this week?
So, Steve, this weekend in Herd Summer Racing League, we have 6 laps of the London Classique route, coming in at a distance of 38.8 kilometres and elevation gain of 128 metres. Racers will take on the 5-kilometre lead-in before aiming for points on the 6 efforts over the mile sprint before trying to secure extra points for their final finishing position.
So it's a really easy one this week, so I'm going to rattle through it. I'm then going to rattle through the section where James rewrites the orders of the days of the week to his own personal spreadsheet preference. But let's start with this race. So there's not a hill, disappointing. I can already see Becca shaking her head in annoyance at the lack of a hill. There is a sprint, it's on the mile, it's 200 metres. It's a pretty straightforward sprint. You go across the big roundabout. And then it's not long after that, and it's 200 metres long, so you pedal for about 10 to 15 seconds for most of us, and that's you over it. And then we do that 6 more times. I think the tricky things to remember on this one, as I have done a little bit of prep, isn't one of the sprints actually the lead-in, and the final lap sprint doesn't count.
This is correct.
So we've got 6 opportunities to score, which are the first 6 times that you get to the sprint line. The 7th time you get to the sprint line doesn't count, but it does count for position, of course. So you're still competing for GC points on this. So if you're hammering the primes, times 1 to 6, you get to the sprint, and times 7, you don't need to hammer the prime. If, like me, you're just sadly pedaling on your own at the back of a race. But if, like Becca, you're competing to win races, you might want to sprint there for GC points. That's about it, really, isn't it? What subtle tactics can we invent for this course? I'm gonna throw in breakaway because you know I love breakaways, but I'm gonna go to you folks first.
So I'm going to start with, before we get to the tactics, and do a quick translation from for everyone from North America for the mall sprint.
Oh dear. Oh. So let's go to tactics, Craig. And what would we be talking about this week?
So, I mean, there's not much to it. Don't get dropped. Hit the sprint as hard as you can, and then don't get dropped again.
And where are the points we've got to be particularly careful? I guess kind of immediately after the sprint, often see people dropped there. And there's the bit where you turn left and go past what is possibly the statue of Churchill, which was the bit I was, a few weeks ago when we were in London, this was the bit I was obsessively talking about, there being able to be a breakaway without having realised you only passed it on the lead-in and then ignored it for the rest of the race. So this segment actually exists on today and tomorrow and Sunday's ride. So I can justifiably talk about that, but you go up the hill before you get to the big roundabout. And I think there's an opportunity for a breakaway there, but mostly that's because I think the group will get a bit strung out there and the strong riders will be at the front, and that's where you can get dropped. Anywhere else you're going to get dropped on this course?
Coming out of at the end of the lead-in, same as on Greatest London Flat, but I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I raced this one in race 1 and pretty much the group stayed together right until the end. So it was entirely GC riding.
So I'm going to talk breakaways now then, Becca. I think someone like Becca, who's incredibly strong and good at Zwift, could go really, really hard up the hill at the end and gap riders. And then you've only got about 1.2 Ks to the finish. So Geraint Thomas did it earlier in the week in the Dauphiné. You attack on that bit, you get a bit of a gap, you just do a 4-minute K to the end, or whatever he does his kilo in, and you win. Surely that's how it works.
Someone did try that in our race. It's further than you think. It's about 2 and a bit K, and he didn't survive until.
I was going to say the kilometre to go banner is round the sharp hairpin, so it's probably quite a long way.
It is quite a long way, yeah. I knew they were going to attack. They told me they were going to attack, and they did try it, but the pack came back together way too quickly. So
the only other option I'm going to say in crazy tactics that I might try and have tried in the past, and occasionally have even worked, is what I would call the Vinokourov. So for those of you who can remember the doped up era of the Tour de France, which was insane because they just raced at max speed because they were full of performance enhancing drugs and other people's blood. Vinokourov attacked across Place de la Concorde to win on the Champs-Élysées. So he just gunned it as they went across Place de la Concorde and basically did about a 500 metre to a kilometre sprint to the end. I think if you went really hard across the big roundabout, you might catch a group out and you can stay away to the end. But that's my crazy tactic of the week, which none of you will be doing.
Personally, Steve, I'm looking forward to you going for an attack on the hill during the lead-in and then hanging on for 33.5 kilometres. Because that's the sort of thing you do.
I don't know. I think that's Matt de Freitas territory, that one, isn't it? I think
could well
do his 30k breakaways. Anyway, so it's quite a simple one. Bikes, best flat bike. I'm actually going away from Tron this week. I think if you've got a faster flat bike, I mean, let's take a step back. I know it is called the Pink Tron, but the Tron is a pretty good flat bike, which is why we all love it, and it is also fast if it's pink.
It's the best bike if you don't have disc wheels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is the Tron, unless you've got the disc wheels. If you haven't got the Tron, it's your best flat bike today, is it?
Yep. 100%. I wish there was something to debate here, but there just isn't.
No, it's a nice flat course. It's an easy one, which I really like because it's going to allow me to get to the bit I really want to talk about, which I hope Craig has prepped for, which he probably hasn't. But anyway, that's what's called a teaser in the trade, and I hope you look forward to listening to that later. So, James, in which order would you like to tell us about the days of the week this week?
Well, actually, Steve, I think I'm just going to quickly touch on the Shiris that started this week on Tuesday. We had, across the 3 events, we had 500 signups and around about 350 ladies actually finished the 8-kilometre route in Bologna, featuring the 2-kilometre climb. Just to quickly shout out a few names, Marilyn de Vleja finished first in B category. Lorraine Jewel first in C's, and also Katie Neal was first in D. So very, very well done, ladies. So it was a fantastic start to the series. 500 signups is unreal for a ladies only community race in the middle of the week. So that was absolutely fantastic. But touching on what we have to follow, so on Sunday / Monday, we have the Herd of Mountain Goats, which is a race to the line, and this weekend it is Surrey Hills. Sunday, Monday, and very early Tuesday in our time, the Stampede, our no draft event, is a single lap of Watopia's Waistband. And then we have the second event of the Shiris on Tuesday, which is 2 laps of the Innsbruck Ring, followed by our points race on Wednesday, the Bullseye, which will be 6 laps of Lutèce Express in Paris.
Awesome. So my first question is completely unrelated to that, James. Becca, why didn't you win the A's in the Shiris? And what's your excuse for that, young lady?
I went outside instead.
Oh, doing an IRL. How done. So, yeah, I just want to echo what you said, really, James, and well remembered. It's just a fantastic amount of people riding, some great results in the herd, and just actually beyond that, it's just fantastic to see so many people taking part. And quite a high percentage of those riders who took part were in the herd as well, weren't they?
There were. We actually had 149 herd riders across the 3 events. So absolutely fantastic way to represent the team.
Cool. So the main thing I want to talk about this week, and I really hope Craig's done more preparation than I have, is the ZRL playoffs that see a load of herd riders and teams taking part. So what's coming up tomorrow, Craig?
So tomorrow we have tomorrow the men are doing the time trial and the women are doing the points race. And then on Sunday they switch. So we have more women's teams than we had originally thought are eligible, but 2 of those additional teams weren't able to get a team together at the last minute. So WTRL invited the 3rd place teams for the women's at the last minute. But unfortunately, so we had 3 teams that were in those 3rd place slots, but only one of them was able to get a team together just through life and not having planned on it because they didn't finish in the top 2. So sorry, so we have 5 men's teams and I think also 5 women's teams now are actually going to participate, and 7 women's teams qualified or were invited. So we have a lot of herd representation, and we are going to do a live broadcast of both. So that will be James and I and Jody and Zoe with Steve. Maybe we're still not sure on Steve.
Yeah, it really depends how shit I am at cricket tomorrow. Hopefully I'm really bad, and that means we're home early. It means I can take part, but also hoping that I can come on Sunday and join people for those broadcasts as well. So watch that in the normal places. It will be on the Herd Racing League YouTube channel. I'm sure James will post links on the Facebook page and all those things. Any particular teams that will jump out to us, Craig? Any teams that we think we should watch tomorrow?
So it's really funny. I'm not sure. It's really hard to compare because these teams all competed in their own time slots and we're tops. So it's going to be really interesting. I know some of the divisions aren't getting a lot of participation, or some of the categories aren't getting as much participation as others. So it'll be very interesting. I think last season, for season 2, one of the races was half herd. So we'll just see what happens.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to it. Becca, are you going to tune in, or are you out enjoying the wide world tomorrow?
I am out enjoying the wide world tomorrow, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sometimes, even at 6 p.m. But if you wanted to catch up, and thank you for segueing into that, the recordings stay up on the YouTube channel, James. I'm sure you'll create a custom playlist.
Indeed, and obviously links will be posted to the Facebook group as well. So keep an eye out for those, and the videos will be available for viewing after they've been recorded as well.
Fantastic. And so in double quick time tonight, that brings us through really nicely to what's annoyed us in the world brackets of Zwift. So who wants to go first here?
I have no annoyances, actually. Zwift have been quite nice to me this week. They've given herd racing one of a very small number of trial events on the new Makiri Islands courses. So 7 p.m. BST, Eastern time in the States and Pacific time in the States will be running a chase event on 3 different courses in the New World. So that should be fun.
And actually genuinely exciting about bike choice in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Genuinely exciting bike choice dilemma. Even Becca has cracked half a smile at that prospect as well. Craig, how about you?
I actually have absolutely nothing. I have been on Zwift once in the past week to do the team time trial with the newly minted herd of badass giant weasels or herd of fishers. So that was lots of fun last night.
Yeah, I was really confused by that name and had to Google. And Becca, how about you?
Yeah, like Craig, I've only really ridden the TTT this week, so I can't really complain. But I can just say we got our first top 10 in espresso with the Platties this week. So yeah, we've finally managed to do it, which we would qualify for a Premier League place, but it would be 3:30 in the morning for our Aussie team. So we're going to stick to zone 1.
Yeah, I think even Matt DeFreitas would balk at regularly riding at 3:30 in the morning, wouldn't he? I've got an IRL thing, so I've not really done any Zwifting this week. I've been outside, so I've had a week off, enjoying cycling outside. However, flies, they're annoying, aren't they? I mean, knowing Zwift, they are eagerly beavering away on something that only is available with the Wahoo climb, that just projectile fires flies into your face every so often, just to recreate that image and fires them into your throat, and then makes sure when you get off and have a shower afterwards, you have 27 flies just in your hair. And as I said in our chat group, I don't have masses of hair, although it does grow at an alarming rate, as James pointed out last week. How anyone with hair that's any longer copes with this, or a beard, in fact, copes with being outside and flies, I don't know. I did have to wear a casquette, the small cycling hats, underneath my helmet today, and that did seem to help things. But yeah, flies, that's what's annoyed me this week. It is annoying also, I've noticed, and I had this last time I Zwifted, when a big fly comes and lands on your monitor and it's too far away from your bike for you to effectively flap it off. So yeah, flies, hate them, just generally in life. So I think that brings us to the end, doesn't it? I don't think there's anything we normally talk about. So I am just going to say tune in to the ZRL finals tomorrow. I'm excited to be able to hopefully take part and waffle over them. If not, listen to some other people waffling beautifully. I've not heard Zoe or Jodie. I mean, I've heard Jodie waffle for about 2.25 hours on the ridiculously long ride that we were on Discord for, that James put on earlier this year, but not heard Zoe or Jodie waffle before. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's it, I guess. I'm going to say good night.
Good night, everyone.
Like